when you do meet fans, what are the kind of questions that they usually fire at you? What's the most common stuff people want to ask about?
People always want to ask if I do my own fighting or stunts, and people want to know how I kept the secret from How I Met Your Mother for so many years.
Keeping the secret, how hard was that?
Well, when we shot it, so 9 years ago, we signed confidentiality agreements, David and I, who plays my brother, and it was kind of strange because it was a brand new show and, you know, people hadn't really seen it yet, and I didn't know it was going to be I knew it was going to be a successful show because it was so great, but I didn't know the secret was going to be that crazy because we didn't know how many seasons it was going to take to come out. So it could have been like the next season or like it was and almost 10 years later. So more recently, by the end, I was really flooded by a lot of people saying, come on, just tell me. So that's when it got hard, but it wasn't that hard.
How much training did you have to go through for Nikita?
Actually, the funny thing is nobody asked me if I could do fighting or stunts when I got the job. So I was kind of just thrown into it. So I didn't really do any training except when I got there. We had a great stunt coordinator, and his name's Teek Fong, and he taught me a lot kind of as we went along. I come from a dancing background, so luckily it wasn't the physical aspect, and learning choreography was really easy for me, but you know, it was just a different style, so it took some time to learn that stuff. Also, fighting for film is very different than whatever that martial art type is in real life, so it was also learning how to fight for the camera angles and stuff. So I kind of just learned as we went.
It's obviously quite a serious show. Was there any sort of lightheartedness on set?
Oh yeah, all the time. You have to be when you're like saying someone assassin killed some, you know, it's just like ridiculous if you don't laugh all day long. There would be situations where we would be freezing outside and we had to look like we were just like, oh, whatever. And then it would cut and we'd all be like, like this, and like your teeth were chattering and stuff. We had some really cold night shoots.
Is there any particular episode that was your favourite or was the most challenging in Nikita?
My favorite and the most challenging was, I think it was season 1 or 2 when I played future me and Alex, because we kind of had to decide what she would be like in the future, not just physically what she would look like, but you know, this idea of one path that she could take. So that was kind of fun. And then technically we used a camera because I'm in a scene with myself. So technically we used a camera that I had never used before, and it's basically you shoot the scene as one person and the camera is locked and it goes like this on the dolly, and then you have to do the exact same thing as the other character, and you have to act against yourself, which is not there. And then the camera is in a locked place and does the same thing, so the film layers like this. So it was really strange and unusual and challenging, and I absolutely loved it. It was really cool, especially to see it afterwards, and you know, you're talking to the air, and then to see it afterwards, it all makes sense, so it was great.
How do you feel about how the show ended for Alex?
I loved it. You know, it's kind of unfortunate that the season was so short and we kind of had to like rush it at the last minute, but I really feel like the writers did a good job of trying to get everybody, all the character storylines kind of finished. So with that being said, I was really happy that Alex has had a lot of terrible tragedies happen to her. And I was really happy that it ended with some happiness, that she's, you know, doing charity work and is in love, and, you know, there's actually something good coming up for her. Yeah.
Had you seen the original La Femme Nikita before you?
Oh yeah, the film? Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
And the TV show? Or
I have not seen the TV show, no, but the film I'm a huge fan of. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Has Luc Besson ever had any contact about what's going on in the show? Does he just throw away?
No, he wouldn't even comment on it being made. So I know that he's aware of it, but I don't think he, you know, we're doing our own version of it. So, you know, I can understand it's his idea. So I'm sure it's like your own little baby. You want to feel protective of it. So, you know, I get it.
Is there any other character you could have played in the show you would love to have done, male or female?
On Nikita?
Yes. Nikita.
I would have loved to do Burkoff. That was a great role. I love how they wrote for him. Aaron Stanford did such a fantastic job, which, by the way, he's doing 12 Monkeys for Sci-Fi. I'm so excited about. And I don't know, they did a really good job at bringing comedy into his character. So that would have been fun.
What's next for you then?
I just finished a movie called Moments of Clarity. That's a film about two unusual friends becoming friends, two unusual girls and finding each other. It's kind of like Thelma and Louise meets Juno, to describe it. And it's got a very unique sense of humor and a lot of heart. And this woman named Kristen Wallace, it was her first film. She wrote it and starred in it with me. And she's really fantastic. And I'm really excited. It's in the editing room right now. And I'm about to start production on a film called The Escort, where I play an escort.
And I have to ask, how are you preparing for that? I mean, that must obviously be quite a challenging role, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's challenging and it's strange because the character didn't come from like an abusive past. She's not a drug addict. This is a high-class escort. So it comes with its own questions of, why this woman would choose to do that to make money. And so I've watched a lot of documentaries on women that are very expensive escorts and all about their life. And I don't know, it's a really fascinating world that I didn't know anything about.
I mean, what surprised you the most about that world as you've been researching it?
I was surprised by how many women were so proud of their job. And then I kind of realized that I was judging them, and I was able to see a little bit from their point of view of their job and what they were proud of and that they enjoyed it and that they were just so free with themselves. I don't know. It was a very fascinating point of view, and I'm really excited to play that part.
In Moments of Clarity, the two young women are obviously very different. Who do you think you compare to more and why?
I actually am more like Kristen's character. Kristen plays someone who's very optimistic and very girly and always smiling, and I'm much more like that in real life, and I tend to play more serious. My character in that movie is a lot more dry and sarcastic, and it's kind of how Kristen's character lightens her up and vice versa. So we kind of in real life are opposite.
What's been your favourite role today?
I think that they've all given me something to learn from. I guess Nikita was the longest, so almost 5 years, 4 years. So I think that one maybe is closest to my heart and the hardest to let go of. But I'd say they all are.